Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay, Atlanta's new standard in payroll. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get started, it's important to recognize our sponsor, OnPay. Without them, we can't be sharing these important stories. Today on Atlanta Business Radio, we have Shay Howe with ActiveCampaign. Welcome, Shay.
Hey, Lee. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you're up to. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about ActiveCampaign. How you serving folks?
Yeah. ActiveCampaign is the leader in marketing automation, email marketing, and CRM software. We help businesses of all sizes, be it folks from solo entrepreneurs to enterprises who are solving very complex challenges, grow by scaling and personalizing their customer experiences. And we largely do so using automation. The idea is that we allow these businesses to accelerate their growth by being able to automate some one-to-one experiences that happen across all the different channels, all the different markets by which they speak and get engaged with their customers in.
Now, there's several players in the space that you're in. What kind of separates you from the others?
Yeah, it's a good question. We do a number of different things, one of which we have built a true platform. And what I mean by that is one of which we don't focus on a given vertical per se, nor do we focus on a very specific size of business. The thought is we want to build a platform that is approachable, that's intuitive, one by which anyone can come to ActiveCampaign and learn how to use it. But it's also depth enough in its capabilities and qualities that it services businesses of all types, right? So it's not just for small businesses, but it also works for that mid-market to enterprise. Truly anyone can come in and figure out how to use ActiveCampaign, but also figure out how to get it to address the complex needs they may have within their organization. And so many other platforms probably go deeper into one very specific vertical or one very specific market of customers per se. We tend to think wider than that and how we could service a much larger range of customers, if you will.
Now, for the folks who are kind of choosing which is the right automation or service for them, how would you recommend they go about kind of doing that kind of research to land on the best fit?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think every business is going to have different needs, right? And they should think about those needs. They should spend some time writing those down, documenting those, and doing an evaluation of different platforms against them. A lot of it may depend on how you go to market, how you reach existing customers, how you engage new customers, how you want to retain them. You should think about that pretty end-to-end holistically and evaluate tools against that set. One of the things I would recommend in doing that, though, would be also considering and weighing out the idea that every business uses a plethora of tools to operate, right? It's very rare that you have just one tool you use to run your business. Lee, I'm venturing to guess you have numerous tools you use day-to-day at work, right? You should think about a platform that is able to integrate and connect all of those different tools. And I say that because if you bring automation into that experience, the way to make that automation personalized is by bringing those tools together so that you're capturing the data from the different odds and ends of it to ensure that you're able to take use on that to change a customer's experience based off what might be their behaviors or existing actions or things you can know about them. And you have to have that data across all those tools to do that. I can give you an example. If you are a sales rep about to reach out to an existing customer because they have a contract renewal or you think there's a good way that you could upsell or expand their account, you probably want to double check inside of your customer support or service system to ensure that that person doesn't have any open tickets or outstanding issues, right? ActiveCampaign can help bring the integration across all of those so that you're not creating tasks for a sales rep to go reach out to folks who may have those open areas of opportunity or issues per se. Likewise, the opposite of that could be true. We could be looking at folks visiting your website, they're visiting your pricing page, they're visiting very specific categories of your blog, by which you can detect, and that person probably has a very specific interest in this type of service or offering that they're not currently engaged in with us. We should reach out to them and ask them if they have any curiosity, want to learn more there, if there's anything we can help them learn or educate on that very specific end. So how you think about the integrations you have can matter significantly into what type of platform you might choose.
And then how skilled of a technologist do you have to be to implement all those integrations? Is it something that's pretty intuitive, or is it something that you work with your clients to help them integrate? Or so how does that part work?
Yeah, good question. I think it's that can be intimidating, right? To think about, okay, hold on, I got to build all these integrations, then to go out and build out all these automations, all these emails. Whew, that can be a lot of work. That is, it's not the case with ActiveCampaign. We focus a lot on how to keep the platform truly intuitive. So when you set up the integrations, largely the way you connect the tools and authenticate across them is no different than logging into them. And we help provide a lot of easy default and settings so that when you're connecting, you can see which data is getting passed from tool to tool. You can customize that if you wish, but we're going to be intelligent in what we recommend. As you think about building out automations, we'll give you what we call recipes, which are largely just recommendations of, based off of this trigger, you probably want to take these actions. And you could use those directly out of the box, or you could go in to begin to customize those and tweak what might be the messaging or language within an email. We also provide a lot of email templates or landing page templates by which you can jump in and not have to design something from scratch, but start with a strong foundation and grow and build from there. So we certainly do our best to make it as intuitive, as easy to get started as possible. We really want folks to find that kind of value very quickly.
Now, in your work, I guess in your background, you started as a technologist and moved into marketing?
Yeah. I have a weird background, to be honest with you. I started in design, but it was design in the sense of how to use design to go out and solve a very specific problem. I spent the first 6 years of my career working in different marketing agencies where I'm designing websites, emails, ads, you name it. I learned a lot about how to drive organic traffic through search engines, as well as how to do paid customer acquisition. After that, I went deeper into software as a service or SaaS startups, where I'm designing and building the product. And throughout that journey, I went, from design deeper into what would be the engineering or product management ends and how to actually go out and solve a customer's problems. But in doing that, also understand where is there a viable commercial opportunity or a market that truly wants that? And come to learn it's almost like the field of dreams, right? If you build it, doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to come. And that's where I went deeper into marketing, learning about more on how to garner interest and how to go out and acquire customers, but further how to actually drive adoption of those folks who are interested and how to retain them as customers for a long time. That's led me through different roles in design, product engineering, and marketing at a number of different companies.
Now, as part of ActiveCampaign's marketing, you're hosting a live event in Atlanta on February 7th. Can you talk about that and how this kind of building community through face-to-face live, in real-life events comes into play in an organization that prides itself in marketing automation?
Yeah. The event we have on February 7th in Atlanta is what we call a study hall. And a study hall is a half-day workshop where we have live instruction on learning from in-house experts on email marketing, marketing automation, customer relations, anything you would think about in terms of how to grow your business. So if you've ever wanted to start a business, or if you have an Etsy shop or a brick and mortar business, or you're already in the ways of it, or if you've used technology to help scale your business in the past and maybe it hasn't worked well, you should come check it out. You will walk away from a study hall with the principles and best practices that go into launching personalized marketing campaigns that help you garner attention and grow sales. The entire idea of a study hall is that folks walk away with the skills to run an effective sales and marketing team and functions. And we go deep into all ends of that. The idea of getting together in person is one by which we get hands-on. We can ask and answer questions more directly. We can pull up our computers, walk through accounts, those integrations, all the campaigns, automations, et cetera. We'll directly help you set those up, right? We'll do that together live in the room. And it's so fun to sit in one of those rooms, Lee, because what you'll see and find is you might have a very specific idea or thought of how you want to set up an automation to do something in your business, but someone across the room is going to ask a question, perhaps completely unrelated, but the answer to it is going to unlock a new potential or thought in your own mind of, hey, that's an interesting question. I bet I could use that in a unique or different way in my own business. So the energy in those rooms is really dynamic. the buzz across them as folks start to build automations and change the operations of their business is really exciting to see.
Now, are the folks that are in these rooms, are they entrepreneurs? Are they kind of the marketing person in an organization? Is it, kind of a solopreneur all the way up to somebody that might be in an enterprise organization? It's just a hodgepodge?
Yeah. Yes, all the above. You will find folks who are sole entrepreneurs who run and grow their own business. You're going to find folks who work in small businesses where there's maybe a team of a dozen folks. You're going to find folks who come from organizations with 1,000+ employees, and they sit on the marketing team, or maybe they're in a sales management or operations role. You're going to find folks from all different kind of backgrounds and functionalities. And that's kind of the beauty of it, right? To bring a diverse audience and crowd together like that, to start to share some ideas, really starts to unlock the potential or thoughts that you otherwise may not have not gotten into a room with those folks.
And the way the day will kind of unfold is there's kind of learning, education, somebody teaching something, and then there's breakout sessions and places to ask questions and to kind of work together.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, so you have an instructor that's leading a little bit of a lesson per se, but very interactive. It's not, it's not someone standing at a podium just talking for a few hours. There's questions to the audience. It's not just a presentation. We'll actually have the platform up. We'll be walking through it, building things live together. We'll stop. We'll do breakout groups to work on some of those problems together. We'll also leave space in the day for folks to just be in their own account, setting up automations, trying to build stuff. Very hands-on, honestly. I'd say the majority of the session is not actually a lecture per se. It's more conversational and doing, live demonstration, if not sitting with folks individually going through what they could be doing in the platform.
Now, are these people that are attending, are they your existing customers right now, or is this good for a new person that maybe isn't familiar that can educate themselves and get maybe launched in your product?
Yeah, it's both. So we certainly have a lot of existing customers come because they're always curious to know, hey, what else could I be doing with ActiveCampaign? What capabilities of the platform might I not be taking advantage of? We also have plenty of folks who are just either curious about ActiveCampaign or, quite honestly, more curious about marketing automation, email marketing, trying to figure out ways of, what is the relevant messaging, how to stay topical, to really understand what resonates with customers in today's landscape of, marketing, et cetera. We dig into all that. So we have folks that aren't customers come, we have existing customers come. And that's part of the benefit, right? Again, that diversity really provides a richer, far more depth of conversation and understanding how to grow each of our individual businesses.
And where is this event happening? Because it's a live event. It's not a virtual event that's running live, right? This is in real life.
Yeah. We will be live in Atlanta. We have a venue set aside for it. We'll have breakfast. We'll have lunch together. We will be in person through and through.
And then is this the only event that ActiveCampaign is hosting, or are there other events throughout the year in other locations?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a bunch of study halls this year. As I mentioned, we're in Atlanta on February 7th. Directly following that, we will head over to Charleston, where we'll be on February 8th. And then later in February, we'll be in Washington, D.C., Chicago, Indianapolis. We'll head over to Europe and do some events in Dublin, London, and Amsterdam. And honestly, we have a whole slate of cities we'll be visiting throughout the year. So my recommendation would be to head over to Eventbrite and search for ActiveCampaign. And you'll be able to find out all the different cities we're in and what dates we'll be at them.
Now, in the markets that you serve, do you have kind of ActiveCampaign offices or ActiveCampaign partners that help people?
We, in some sense, do, yes. Our team is fairly distributed. We have hubs in Chicago, Indianapolis, Dublin, Sydney, as well as down in Brazil. So we have folks there, but we also have folks just remotely spread out throughout the globe. And then we have a partner network, be it of resellers, referrals, or consultants globally as well. A number of those folks, those partners will come to the events to help out, to engage with that local community. Local employees will come as well, servicing as a bit of a teacher's assistant, answering questions, walking in the room, helping folks out. So, as we host the events, we try and engage the broader ecosystem and community around ActiveCampaign as well. make sure it's the best event for everyone involved, that everyone walks away getting their questions answered, finding new ways to essentially add automation into their business.
Now, any advice for the business owner out there and the best way to leverage a marketing automation? Like, you're a marketing automation company, but yet you're doing an in real life event. So is there a combination or the right recipe to market in today's world that combines automation, email, in real life events?
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe wild, but as a marketing automation company, we tell folks all the time, hey, do not over automate, with the sense that if you're doing things that aren't personalized, people begin to notice or feel as if there's a machine or a robot perhaps behind the scenes on that, right? There are certain parts of your business you can automate because they're mundane or just topical and easy to offload. Where automation shines is where you can really begin to personalize it so that folks feel as if they're your only customer, irregardless if you have 1 or 1 million customers. And I think that's where the spirit of iteration comes into play. You should always be playing with that line of what am I automating versus what am I doing by hand or layering in that human touch aspect too. I think you'll be interested to find there's some things that work really well automated. There's some things that personal touch you can't beat, right? And that's something we would recommend folks to adjust, to play around with, to iterate on. And for us, the ability to get together with our customers, prospects live, not only helps us educate them and hear their stories around how to grow their business, but it's feedback for us in how we can iterate, build, evolve our own product, platform, marketing, you name it. So it's one of those areas where we automate a lot of the scheduling of the events, the event reminders, the scheduling and marketing around the event, but nothing beats getting in person with those folks live to have those conversations, to hear their feedback, really dig in one-to-one, if you will.
And so you're thinking that's a mistake some people make, is to rely too much on automation and forget about the fact that business ultimately is done kind of human to human at some point.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like we're all people. You might be selling into a business as a customer, but that business is run by people, right? And I think the relationship there is super important. So not losing sight of that, being personable throughout all of that is very important.
Well, Shay, thank you so much for sharing your story today. The website for ActiveCampaign, if somebody wants to learn more about that, and also one more time, the coordinates for the event via Eventbrite.
Yeah. So you can find us online at ActiveCampaign.com. We're on all the relevant social channels as well. So be it LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And then all the events, all of our study halls are listed on Eventbrite. And you can find the Atlanta event coming up on February 7th. And for anyone who's interested in attending as well, we have a coupon code we're happy to share with them. The code would be LEARN, so LEARN, and that will give you half off a study hall. And that coupon code works not only for Atlanta, but all the events we have coming up. So yeah, you can find those all on Eventbrite.
Now, before we wrap, I have one quick question. Do you mind sharing a story, maybe your favorite success story of somebody leveraging ActiveCampaign to take their business or project to a new level? Yeah,
it can be a difficult question to answer, Lee. It's almost like selecting your favorite child in some respect. I can give an example of a customer in Atlanta, actually. There is Apple Rose Beauty. Apple Rose Beauty offers vegan, cruelty-free organic skincare and organic beauty products that work for sensitive skin. And they have a very interesting and inspiring story of how they've adjusted the business and evolved throughout the pandemic. And basically using ActiveCampaign, Apple Rose Beauty turned what was mainly an in-person approach into a thriving e-commerce business when the pandemic hit, right? Where they had to basically remove that face-to-face interaction, right? When that wasn't possible. So Christy Alexander, who is their founder and chief, big heart, implemented a number of different automations. She went out and created these one-to-one experiences that helped grow the company's online sales by over 300%, which is just absolutely wild. And pre-pandemic, they were doing about 30% of Apple Rose Beauty's business from online sales. most of that, in some respects, was coming from live events where they got immediate direct feedback from customers that helped them stay connected. And to mimic that experience or that in-person experience online, Christy pivoted and did far deeper conversational marketing within her email marketing. And while email had accounted for roughly 12 to 15%, I believe, of Apple Rose's beauty revenue, pre-pandemic, today it's accounting for north of 30%. So they've been able to go in, layer an ActiveCampaign, find ways to be conversational, personal in their email marketing, to use some automations to find the right moments to engage their customers with the correct messaging. And they're being able to scale through that, right? So a business that's in many ways evolved and in some sense grown throughout the pandemic just by any challenges in front of that. So it's very awesome and kind of wonderful to see them deliver a personalized experience at scale, and wonderful to see Christy and her team focus on delivering great products to their customers.
Now, when they're working through that, is ActiveCampaign assisting them in any manner, or is it just something that they're figuring out on their own by kind of learning about it as just kind of stumbling upon what works and doesn't, or is there some help by ActiveCampaign, whether it's a library or an academy or a human that helps them kind of wring out the most value from the software?
Yep. They can do, and any customer can do either or, right? We have an entire academy, a learn section, really rich help docs with videos, tutorials, and guides, where folks, if they want to kind of self-service their way to setting up an account and learning how to kind of pivot or evolve their business, they can certainly do so. We also offer just a number of events, such as study halls, but also virtual events where we can, you can talk to a customer success manager, or you can jump on the phone with different product experts that will really help understand, hey, what's your use case and how best to set that up or solve for that in ActiveCampaign. So in that same scenario where we have a mix of automation and human touch, we take that exact same approach into the education, into the implementations and enablement of ActiveCampaign. So yeah, you can certainly find resources online, but we are also here to help you with the human-led experience as well.
Good stuff. Well, Shay, thank you again for sharing your story. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Lee, I thank you so much for the time. Thank you for having me.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio.